Hello everyone. I'm Mrs. Charpentier, founder and CEO of Skinobs. We are we are thrilled to welcome you today for this webinar dedicated to Indian testing trends. We were last week attending HPCI in Mumbai, and we had a lot of things to tell you about what's going on in India. So this webinar will last with several participants. Sorry. So we will start with Shweta Purandare, and she will speak about the testing context and what's going on in India as an Indian player in the beauty world. Then we will have the presentation of Pixience of Julie. Sorry, there is a change in my slide. So Julie, you will present after Shweta. Then Dr. Anne Jain, CIDP number 3, and then Guillaume for Weneos about sun care. Loretta with Arthur about a new innovation for the efficacy evaluation. And then I will present you at least the trends for testing and what's going on. So let's start with Shweta. Thank you very much, Shweta, for joining this webinar today. You are a specialist, an expert of testing, and as cosmetic brands scale rapidly, you are a leading expert in advertising, regulations, and claim substantiation in India. So it's a real chance to have you with us today. And you're working at the intersection of marketing, R&D, and consumer protection. And you have been a former Secretary General of the Advertising Standard Council of India, and with the experience of working at Procter & Gamble and L'Oréal. And you bring first-hand insight into how advertising claims are regulated, monitored, assessed, and challenged. And through your consultancy, Tap Again, you advise D2C brands, startups, and established companies on aligning products testing with marketing communication, managing regulatory risk, and building a credible compliance brand narrative. That's all we need today. And you also run a YouTube channel, Advertising Laws, focused on practical guidance for advertisers. So the floor is yours, Shweta.
Thank you very much. And let's get started with the presentation.
Yes.
Okay, so the slides are seen and the sound is clear, right?
Yes, we can see your slide and we can hear you very well. I asked the other speakers to switch off their camera if possible. Thank you very much.
Yep. Hello, everyone. The days of selling a hope in a jar and hoping it works are over. While beauty may be skin deep, the Indian regulators are now demanding in-depth clinical studies and preferably independent third-party data. So let's talk about ads, evidence, and enforcement. A warm welcome to this webinar, and in the next 10 minutes, I will quickly take you through the regulatory landscape in India when it comes to cosmetic claims, recent developments, and why a test in time is necessary. And I'll be happy to answer your questions at the end of the webinar if time permits. Otherwise, you can always reach me on LinkedIn. Now, every startup aspires to get featured on a Shark Tank episode and get funding for his brand. But a recent Shark Tank opening episode was a disaster for a startup company. And you know who I'm talking about. And this particular YouTuber had caught my attention 3 years ago itself because I noticed a doctor prefix against his name. The sharks on Shark Tank chewed up not only his product claims, but also his credentials. And one of the sharks said, "You're only safe because you're on a social media platform." Well, that's not entirely true because many of you already know that social media marketing is also very much within the scope of advertising regulations. And this particular advertiser has been lucky so far because the regulatory sharks are yet to smell him. So let's get to know what the regulations are when it comes to cosmetic claims. And I hope every startup company knows that you need a manufacturing license even before you manufacture a cosmetic product locally or if you are importing a cosmetic product in India. Cosmetics also have to comply with Indian standards prescribed by the Bureau of Indian Standards, and there are some specific standards for product testing also, such as for SPF. And depending on the product composition and claims, you could be controlled by sector regulator. So be it Ministry of Ayush, Ministry of Health, or even FSSAI if you are selling a wellness drink or something like that. But the real game changer is the Central Consumer Protection Authority, that is CCPA, established under the Consumer Protection Act 2019. And CCPA regulates unfair trade practices and false and misleading advertisements. Now, there is a big difference between what the self-regulatory body, the Advertising Standards Council of India, does versus CCPA. Because with ASCII, an advertiser can say, "Oh, we are very sorry," modify their advertisements, and continue with their business. But with the establishment of CCPA, the scrutiny on advertising claims and claim support has come under spotlight because the consequences, as you can see on the slide, of violations are severe. And if you think your brand is too small to get even noticed, or you are so large that you're untouchable, there is bad news for you because CCPA is taking action against industry giants as well as small startup companies also, as mentioned on this slide. And CCPA is just getting started, mind you, because not many actions have been taken so far, but they have already caused some business to shut shop, discontinue their ads, and cuff up penalties starting from 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh to 3 lakhs, and in some cases, even 10 lakhs. So beware. So why product testing and advertising claim support is required? And here is a classic example of a medical device. A made in USA cool sculpting instrument was approved for certain indications in US. A well-known company was marketing it. It got imported into India through a well-known importer and it was sold to multiple skin clinics. Now all these advertisers started making their own claims. But with just one consumer and with just one complaint, CCPA issued show cause notices to two very well known brands. Not only were the ads pulled down because some of the claims that you see on the slides were found to be objectionable, but they had to pay a penalty also for making these false and misleading claims. And that was not all. CCPA even scrutinized their clinic operations and also looked at their client consent forms as well. So you can imagine the extent of damage that can happen. Also, we are a very small company. We don't know the rules. We are just a startup. I didn't do it. I was not even aware. My sales manager did it. Now, these are all excuses, and all such excuses were squarely rejected by CCPA in some other cases of cosmetic product claims. And by the way, on the slide, if you see, the guy sitting in the center has 3 hands. Now, I didn't do it. AI did it. Jokes apart, let's quickly understand why test, what to test, and when to test. We don't test just because CCPA has come into existence. The basic expectations for any cosmetic product before it is put out in the market is that the product is safe when used as intended. It performs its primary function. A shampoo should clean. We measure the efficacy so that we can create powerful advertising communication. And post-marketing surveillance reaffirms its safety and rules out any adverse effect, which helps in future product extensions also. And some smart marketers use consumer research to generate additional claim support data. This section is useful even for raw material suppliers, manufacturers of beauty devices, or even white label cosmetic manufacturers, because testing the ingredient based claims, product testing for specific benefits like SPF, device testing for efficacy on skin can help to make your pitch very powerful. And based on your tailored dossiers, the advertisers can confidently go and develop their own advertising claims in the market. So the testing is to be done quite upstream on R&D formula. It is also done at finished product level. It is done primarily pre-launch, and in some cases, additional data can be generated post-launch as well. So the advertising claims is a shared responsibility, and if there is a problem, some or all of the player can get impacted. And this is where my tap again ad check service becomes your best friend, because we don't just tell you no, we show you how to do it right. We show you how to stay creative yet compliant with the advertising laws. Just imagine a basic instrumental evaluation could cost you upwards of maybe 25,000 rupees or so. Compare that to a CCPA penalty which runs into lakhs. And the brand risk, can you put a price tag to it? And is it worth all that risk? So to conclude, a test in time saves fines and more. It protects your brand long term. It keeps your celebrity endorsements safe. And most importantly, keeps your CEO or founder out of jail. So thank you for your time today. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for such case studies and feel free to reach out on LinkedIn.
Thank you very much, Shweta, for this great presentation and this insight of what's going on in India. And we know that the beauty market in India is really growing so fast. So it's very important to have your information and what's going on really in India, because when we are in Europe or when we are in France, we can imagine everything and we heard about that or that, but it's really great to have a dedicated insight from you. So thank you very much. I will tell our participant that you can ask your question. There is a Q&A functions in Zoom, so please ask your question, and we will have this Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Thank you very much, Shweta. I welcome Julie from Pixience.
Okay.
So Julie was in India last week with me as co-exhibiting with CIDP and the team of Dr. Jain. So I think it was a real first time in India for you, Julie. So
Yes.
I'm thrilled to welcome you today and to give you the floor for your presentation about Pixience and the C-Cube Imager functionalities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anne. It is okay? You can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hello everyone. Good morning for some and good afternoon from in India. So I am Julie. I am working in a Pixience company. I'm very glad to be here today and to have participated in HPCI in Mumbai last week for my first time in India. I'm going to present you cosmetic testing through our imager, the C-Cube, and show you all type of claim we can validate with this tool. So to present my company, Pixience is a French company. We are specialized in advanced imaging system for cosmetic and also pharmacology testing. So we are the manufacturer of the C-Cube, and this is a skin and a hair imager. So our mission is to support objective, visually communicable evaluation and also reproducibility. So as product claims become more specific years after years and also efficacy driven, brands and CIO are under increasing pressure, we know that, to deliver standardized and measurable results. So this is true in Europe, but it is also true in markets like India, where we are seeing a strong rise in data-driven expectation, whether for skin hyperpigmentation claims, hair regrow, hair densifying claim, or anti-pollution claim. That's where calibrated imaging systems have a great importance. So in next slide, I will introduce to you the C-Cube clinical research, our advanced imager, which is designed to transform a visual evaluation into measurable and reproducible data for both skin, hair, and scalp. So the C-Cube imager is a key system because it can combine the instrumental rigor of probe system and also the visual power of imaging system. So having the C-Cube can allow to have a complete chain of skin analysis system because it can be totally complementary to probes or macro imager or semi-macro imager. The specificity of C-Cube and the difference between the other of imager on the market is in its ability to target a specific area and perform a precise measurement of effectiveness on it. Actually, this is the only microdermoscopic imager on the market. We call it like this. The field of view of C-Cube is only around 2.6 square centimeter for a magnification per 60. So it is ideal to monitoring evolution of a pigment spot, of an inflammatory lesion, of an acne lesion, for example, because there is a small field of view, and the accuracy allows to see things that we can't see with just a human eyes. So specifically the effect of a cosmetic product. And in addition, both in 2D and 3D, the error margin of C-Cube is only 0.1%. So we are sure we are seeing the effect of the product. In terms of technology, C-Cube is based on 3 fundamental points. First, there is the reproducible color calibration, which is correlated with a chromometer. Secondly, the perfect optic and also an indirect lighting that ensure a consistent image without distortion or hotspot on the center. I will come back on this point after. And the third technology is the 3D reconstruction by the technique of stereophotometry, which allow to calculate 3D parameter in accordance with the ISO 25178 to measure the elevation, the roughness, the symmetry parameters. So let's make a little focus on the importance of image standardization. You know that it is essential to have homogeneous image, both for the color measurement and the surface measurement. And here you can see on the slide that the delta E of the C-Cube, it's very low compared of other device, and it is the same for the surface variation. It means that the data is reliable on the entire image, edge to edge, so across all the image, and it allows to be sure that the effect you are measuring is the effect of a product, and it avoids to have bias from the device, like for example having a shadow on the edge of the image. It avoids all these kind of problems. In terms of application and claim you can validate with C-Cube, there is a wide variety of parameters, both in vivo, ex vivo, and also hair and scalp. The ergonomic design of C-Cube also allows to take measurements across the entire body and also the face, obviously, and the patient skin type does not affect the accuracy of the analysis, so you can perform study on all phototypes. Now let's highlight one of the main advantage of C-Cube, which is that it's an imager for the skin, but also for the hair. So we are committed at Pixience to work on image analysis to improve skin health and scalp and hair assessment. But over the past year, you know, AI has developed itself very faster. And at Pixience, it allows us to go even further by integrated detection by AI. And this point is a major breakthrough for hair study. It means concretely that now the C-Cube is able to provide a fully automated analysis by AI of the hair density, diameter, and length. So there is a complete segmentation of hair. And this make the C-Cube a complete and also fast and user-friendly solution for hair efficacy protocol. So it can be used to prove density effect, anti-hair loss, hair regrowth, and so on. So it can help a team to save time and also improve consistency and provide reliable data. And there is always the possibility to correct manually the AI detection in case if there is a mistake. There is always the human eyes which check the detection. C-Cube is also appreciated by the marketing departments because the software image and the rendering add value when you want to illustrate a claim or highlighting specific results in the study. So this kind of 3D rendering that you can see on the slide can be directly exported from the software and used directly using Windows 3D Viewer or application like that by marketing team without having the software. So they can help us to present to the customer the test, etc. To conclude my presentation, we all know that cosmetic evaluation landscape calls for more than just performance today. It asks for precision, reproducibility, and also a lot of visual output. So the C-Cube clinical research was designed and thought to meet these news expectation, providing standardized image, obviously, but also automatization with the help of AI and powerful illustration, but everything in a single device, which is compact and user-friendly. So whether you are assessing the pigmentation, roughness, or hair or scalp analysis, C-Cube can help turn complex data into measurable results and also have a visual evidence for the science, but also for the communication. So here are some of our references in Europe and in all the world. So I take also this opportunity to say thanks to all our customers. And I let you, of course, all my contact information. We were very glad to be in India for the first time. We have connected with many experts, and we're thrilled to keep the conversation. So if you are looking to elevate your testing capability or bring more value in your claims, we can discuss together how the CCube can help you. Thank you, everyone, for your attention. And you can ask your question during the Q&A session or by email directly to me also.
Thank you very much, Julie, for this great presentation. Now I will introduce Dr. Anne Jain from CIDP. Dr. Anne Jain was also attending HPCI in Mumbai with us. We have the pleasure to spend these 2 days with her team. And I had also the great opportunity, the great chance to visit the center in Delhi, the CIDP center, and I really feel the science of beauty testing and a great atmosphere about science-based products for cosmetics. So thank you again for welcoming me at your center, and please, I let you the floor, Dr. Jain, Managing Director of CIDP in Delhi.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you so much for your kind words. And it was a pleasure to be a part of the booth with Skinobs at HPCI and also to have you at our center in New Delhi. I'll just share my screen.
We are waiting for yes, for your presentation. Okay.
Please let me know if it's visible.
That's great. We can
Thank
see
you.
everything. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Anne. So I'm Dr. Anne Jain. I'm a dermatologist and also the Managing Director at CIDP India. Today, I'll be speaking about inclusive beauty, specifically how we can scientifically validate dermocosmetic claims across different skin phototypes, varied pollution exposure, and the cutaneous microbiome. As we know, dermocosmetic products have truly become global. The question is no longer whether a product works, but for whom, under what environmental conditions, and based on which biological endpoints. So I'll be speaking briefly about our presence worldwide, the inclusive dermatological research, why to partner with CIDP for your clinical research requirements, the portfolio of studies that we offer, biological samplings, pollution and microbiome, and finally, global inclusivity through our CIDP network. CIDP, also known as Centre International de Développement Pharmaceutique, is known for conducting high-performance research and development activities for the cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, medical device, and nutraceutical industries for more than 20 years now. We offer a wide range of services, starting from preclinical research to clinical research, biostats and data management, scientific and medical writing, along with regulatory submissions. We have our presence worldwide with the headquarters based in Mauritius and other affiliates in India, Romania, and Brazil. We have approx 130 employees globally, with 50 based in Mauritius and 30 in India. In terms of EcoVadis rating, our center in Brazil is gold rated as per renewal in 2025, and globally, as per the CIDP group rating, is a silver rating for EcoVadis and CyberVadis platinum rating as in 2024. So why inclusive research? We know that human skin is biologically heterogeneous. And based on the structural and functional parameters such as the barrier integrity, the melanocyte activity, sebum production, inflammatory responses, we know it all varies significantly across varied skin types. In addition, the environmental exposure differs widely in terms of UV indices, the pollution particulate matters, humidity, temperature, and all these influence the skin physiology and product performance. Finally, increasing evidence shows that the skin and scalp microbiome plays a significant role in inflammation, barrier function, and disease modulation. Taken together, all these variables directly impact both the safety and efficacy outcomes of all dermocosmetic studies. So, despite these complexities, much of the historical data sets which are available are mainly derived from Fitzpatrick phototype 1 and 2. These data sets often lack evaluation under real world pollution exposure and rarely integrate the microbiome or mechanistic endpoints. As a result, there's a translational gap between the clinical trial outcomes and the real world product performance in global markets, particularly in areas with darker phototypes and higher environmental stressors. India represents a uniquely valuable clinical research environment. Why? Because we have a population which predominantly comprises of Fitzpatrick phototype 3 to 6, with a high baseline melanin content and a greater propensity for pigmentary responses, leading to post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. In parallel, there's a chronic exposure to UV indices and elevated levels of pollution particulate matters. This combination makes India highly relevant for evaluating products targeting acne, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, pigmentary disorders, barrier repair, sensitivity claims, and anti-pollution claims. So in terms of the services that we offer at CIDP, we do a wide range of studies, whether it's safety, efficacy, observational or consumer perception studies related to your skincare products, the hair care, color cosmetics, post-aesthetic procedure studies, medical devices, and nutraceuticals. Our center in Romania is a pioneer in SPF testing with a wide range of services, including the double plate and the HDRS methodologies. So we are hopeful to establish SPF testing center in India by the end of this year. So in terms of the core clinical expertise, at India, our clinical research is focused and aligned with the dermatological realities. We conduct dermocosmetic studies in acne, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, pigmentary disorders, sensitive barrier-impaired skin, and we also design targeted anti-pollution and exposome-linked studies, ensuring that the protocols reflect real-life environmental exposure rather than just controlled lab conditions. So in terms of advanced biological samplings, we now more and more integrate biological samplings into our protocol beyond clinical scoring alone. So this includes both skin and scalp microbiome analysis, as well as the biofilm assessment. By correlating biological changes with the clinical outcomes, we are able to support mechanistic substantiation for claims such as microbiome friendly, barrier supportive, and anti-pollution efficacy, moving beyond purely visual or subjective assessments. So in terms of pollution, microbiome, and skin interactions, we know that pollution exposure induces oxidative stress and inflammation, leading to barrier disruption, which in turn can alter the skin microbiome and promote dysbiosis. These changes are known to exacerbate conditions like acne, pigmentation disorders, skin sensitivity, and can significantly influence the product tolerability and efficacy. Therefore, evaluating pollution exposure, microbiome dynamics, and clinical outcomes together provides a more comprehensive and biologically relevant understanding of product performance. So in terms of global inclusivity through the CIDP network, CIDP operates as an international network with access to more than 38,000 volunteers globally and including more than 10,000 participants in India. Our studies span Fitzpatrick phototypes 1 through 6 worldwide, with robust representation of phototypes 3 to 6 in India. Importantly, the protocols are harmonized across regions, enabling meaningful cross-population comparisons and globally relevant claim substantiation. So in conclusion, inclusive clinical research strengthens the scientific credibility of dermocosmetic claims. So by incorporating diverse skin phototypes, real-world environmental exposure, and relevant biological endpoints, we can improve the external validity and better predict the real-life product performance. And as expectations from regulators and consumers continue to evolve, inclusive, data-driven science is becoming the new benchmark for the cosmetic and beauty industry. Thank you. I would be happy to take up the questions if you may have at the end during the Q&A session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Annie Jain, for this presentation. And it is very important to know that there is a testing center dedicated to dermocosmetics that can really help you to design the right protocols, including the recruitment of the volunteers and the choice of the method of the biometrology analysis. So it's really great to know that there is this center in Delhi to help cosmetic brands and whatever it is, big groups or big companies, or also indie startupper to know that they have the good support. Thank you very much. As I said, we have the Q&A session at the end of this webinar, and also there will be a replay. And we will also share with you each presentation, so you can retrieve this in the Cosmetic Testing News article. We will send all the participants the information. So now I'm thrilled to welcome Guillaume Lejeune from Weneos. Weneos is a leading company, leading testing laboratory located in France and dedicated to sun care evaluation, SPF, and for in vitro, and also the new HDRS. So please, Guillaume, I let you the floor for the next 10 minutes, and please give us all the latest news about these new trends in SPF evaluation. Thank you.
So first, just to check, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Anne, for this introduction, and thank you everyone for attending this webinar. So to briefly describe Weneos, we are a worldwide recognized laboratory specialized only in sun protection testing. So sun protection is really the heart of our activity. We don't do hydration testing or anti-aging testing. We are only focused on sun protection assessment for more than 25 years. And we've introduced many innovations in this field. So our global goal is to make sun protection testing more reliable internationally. And this big objective can be achieved by different ways. One way is to help to develop new methodologies for a reliable assessment of sun protection properties such as SPF, UV APF, or water resistance. And in the other side, also to develop new technologies in order to support the brands, the manufacturers, and the testing centers. Our company is located in France, in Compiègne, and we have a new building of 800 square meters only dedicated to our activity of sun protection assessment. So Weneos can help brands, manufacturers, CROs on different aspects. Because as an expert in sun protection testing, we have different activities in this field. We are a testing center, but not only, we are also an equipment provider, a consumable provider, and we can also help with training for companies. Primarily, Weneos is known as a reference center for in vitro sun protection testing, because we have always committed in the past and still today to avoid sun protection testing with invasive UV exposure on human volunteers. So that's why we have for years developed a lot the in vitro aspect of sun protection testing. In this regard, we have a very important catalog of in vitro sun protection tests that can answer to the different needs of customers depending on the level of development of their products. We have several screening tests in order to assess the different prototypes during R&D and product development. With screening tests for SPF, for UV APF, for photostability, or for water resistance, for example. Then we are also able to offer all the in vitro official claiming tests, depending on the country's regulation. So, for example, we can offer the new ISO 23675 for the in vitro SPF assessment, the ISO 24443 for the UV APF in vitro assessment, FDA broad spectrum, for example, or boot star rating. And in addition to these official tests, we have also many different tests, many different methods for the specific claims of sun protection products, such as, for example, the blue light protection, the sweat resistance, sound resistance, extreme condition, long lasting. For all these specific claims, there are currently no official international norms, but anyway, you need to have a reliable method to claim your product. So at Weneos, we've developed strong and reliable protocols for each of these claims, and we can offer reliable testing for it. And as well, we can offer control testing to control the sun protection when you have different batches or when you have a reformulation of your products, for example. Another activity that we developed in 2025 is the HDRS testing based on the new ISO norm ISO 23698. So this innovative method is a hybrid test that combines in vivo measurements and in vitro measurements to assess SPF, UV APF, and critical wavelength. And the very strong point of this method is that the in vivo part of the test implies minimal UV exposure to the human volunteer, because instead of having high UV dose applied to the human volunteers, we have an instant measurement of the reflections of light on the skin, and this allows to really minimize the UV exposure compared to classical SPF in vivo testing. So in our building, we can welcome human volunteers for these specific studies. So if you have any need, don't hesitate to ask us. Some focus on the Indian sunscreen regulation. So in India, the sunscreen regulation is ruled by the BIS, the Bureau of Indian Standards. In the past, the reference text had a few clear frame regarding the methodologies to apply for some protection testing. And recently, the BIS issued new guidelines in order to specify the official testing method in order to align with ISO reference method. So we can quote, for example, for the SPF, the ISO 24444, which is in vivo SPF. For UV APF, the ISO 24443 for in vitro SPF. And for water resistance, for example, also there are two different norms. Internationally, you have also here a recap table of the different norms that are accepted internationally. Especially for Europe, you have the two new ISO methods, ISO 23675 and ISO 23698. These methods are accepted in Europe, but they are also already accepted in some other countries like Indonesia, for example, UK or Malaysia. And in the future, more and more countries will update their regulation to also include these new ISO methods. So it is important also to be aware of the two new ISO standards that were published in 2024. Despite from the testing part, Weneos is also a provider of equipment and consumables for sun protection assessment. In this regard, all our consumables and equipment are fully compliant with the different international standards. In terms of consumables, we provide the PMMA plates that are used for in vitro sun protection testing with molded plates, Helioplate HD6, and sand-blasted plates, Helioplate SB6. And currently, these substrates are the only one to be fully compliant with all in vitro standards for sun protection. So it's a really key consumables for R&D and testing laboratories in order to test the products in total compliance with the international standards. We have also developed innovative equipment to assess the sun protection in a more reliable way. For example, with our HD Spreadmaster, which is an appliance dedicated to robotic application during in vitro testing to replace manual spreading that can bring many variation in the results. So with robotic spreading, you can have a perfect pressure, a perfect repeatability of the spreading. And of course, it will imply a lower variability in your results. And we have also developed HD Thermaster, which is a thermal control chamber specifically dedicated for the temperature control during in vitro testing with PMMA plates. We are also a distributor of solar lights in Europe for solar simulator or spectrophotometers, for example, or HDRS devices. We have a web of distributors around the world for our equipment and consumables. Especially in India, our official distributor is Agaram Industries. So if you need any consumables or equipment from Weneos or solar lights, because they are also distributor of solar lights, you can send them an email or contact them. And finally, another activity that we offer is training. Over the years, we have trained dozens of companies all over the world for sun protection key knowledge. And we have different modules depending on the needs of customers. Module 1 is a very basic introductive modules. So for example, if you have a marketing team or a sales technical team that you need to train for the basic principles of sun protection, the basic principle of sun protection testing, what is the difference between in vivo and in vitro method, what are the different regulations around the world. This can be an interesting introduction to sun protection assessment. Then we have module 2, which is more complex training in order to see the very key aspects of sun protection testing in vivo or in vitro with the key parameters, the official standards, and the key points to respect to be compliant with the official standards. And then we have module 3, which is really the more complete modules that will combine the key theoretical aspect and as well practical aspects. The customer can come in our laboratory to see the realization of tests in perfect compliance, or we can come to the customer's laboratory to show them how to use the equipment and to perform the protocols to be fully compliant with the standards. And so here you have our contact information and also the contact information for our local distributor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guillaume, for this presentation dedicated to sun care evaluation. And I'm sure that for the Indian market, sun care is also evaluated segment of beauty. So there are more and more products that need to be evaluated. So thank you very much. Now I will introduce Mr. Dervillez, Arthur Dervillez from Loretta.
Hi.
So Arthur is the founder of Loretta, which is a French startup company offering high-speed, high-precision skin nanotexture analysis. This is really brand new. I'm really pleased to share such innovation that are supporting the science-based cosmetics. And he will explain you how the atomic force microscopy and AI technology enables these high-tech scientific evaluation. Thank you, Arthur. I let you the floor for 10 minutes, and thank you. We can see your presentation. That's great.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Anne, for the small introduction. As it was presented, today I want to show you and explain you the innovative technology that my company, my startup Loretta, is using in order to evaluate the efficacy of cosmetic product, but also assess some severity of dermatological disease or any other research that ask for some clinical testing on human skin or other skin. So we are using a technology called AFM, Atomic Force Microscope. I don't know if some of you already had the opportunity to be taught about what is an AFM, or if you maybe had the opportunity to use one day an AFM in your life. If not, don't worry, that's not really complicated, and I will quickly explain it. So here you have a picture of our AFM, or atomic force microscope. The principle of the technology is really easy. You can imagine that you have a needle that will go through your sample in order to draw a topographical map of the sample. That's the kind of image. The kind of image that we obtain is the orange one that you can see on the side. Those ones are exactly like topographical data for like mountain or anything. But for us at Loretta, we have decided to use it on the skin, more especially on the corneocyte. So we are using the topography of the corneocyte in order to evaluate the state of the cells and so the state of the skin. We are scanning area that are around half of a corneocyte size, so 20 micron by 20 micron. We have a 4 nanometer resolution in order to evaluate all the nanostructure that you could observe on the corneocyte membrane. And one of the biggest innovation of our device is how fast is it compared to classical IFM. Classical IFM is taking between 15 minutes and 20 minutes to record one image at this resolution, and here it only takes us 5 seconds. So now we can use this technology in the cosmetic and dermatological world because we are able to process a lot of data in a really short amount of time. So how do we do those experiments? The idea is that first we will collect the sample. In order to collect the sample, we are using a super well-known method that is tape stripping. So we just have to put the dermatological tape on the area that we want to study. We can use any part of the body for sure. And we will use this to collect the corneocyte. Most of the time we are using the third tape strip, but we can go over the whole stratum corneum if we want to study how a product will penetrate the stratum corneum, for example. One of the biggest advantage is that the nanostructure, the topography of the corneocyte will not be affected by temperature and time at room temperature. So we don't need any storage with refrigeration, and we can have a really long-term storage without any modification of the accuracy of our results. As I said, the really fast analysis is one of the biggest advantage of the method because we can analyze a lot of data set, and we can process all your clinical trials on this sample in like 1 or 2 weeks, and you can have really swift delivery. So Now that we have imaged those the sample, the idea is what we can obtain from the sample. What are the structure on the topography that are interesting for us in order to evaluate the efficacy of cosmetic product or the assessment of dermatological severity. For this, we also combine our imaging technique, our innovation device, with an AI software, a deep learning model that we create with more than 85,000 skin image inside, or skin topography scan inside, that help us to evaluate all the assessment. Finally, something important about the method is the inclusivity. We are not seeing the skin or seeing the cells. We are not an optical method. We will really scan the surface. So that means we are completely independent of the skin tone, the Fitzpatrick, and we can evaluate with the same precision every skin color, and we can have also the same precision on every age. So what parameter are we observing on those scan? So the raw scan, that are the orange one, we can observe mostly two kinds of parameters. The first one is what we call circular nano object. You can see that on the orange scan, you have a lot of small circular nanostructure. Those one are what we call the CNOs, the circular nano object. They are directly related to your skin health. The more you get CNO, the less your skin health is good. We saw and we made some study that directly related the CNO number on corneocyte to the natural moisturizing factor of the cells, to the hydration of the skin, to the barrier function of the skin, the UV exposure. That's really a parameter that will talk a lot about how healthy your cells are and your skin is in general. In addition to this, we can also evaluate more roughness parameter. By checking the cell's membrane, it's not completely smooth. For sure, you have those CNO that are nanoscopic structure, but you also have a lot of ridges like canyon and mountain. And by evaluating them, by checking how the surface is contrasted, we can evaluate, for example, the water and cosmetic retention capacity of the cells. We can evaluate the sensoriality, if I can say, of the cells. For example, if we compare a really young cell to a old cell, we will have some difference in the alignment of the ridges, showing how well your cells can be modified under stress, how well it can be deformed under stress. So we can evaluate all of this, all of those parameters. And so we have the combination of health parameter with the CNO and more like sensoriality parameter with the standardized roughness. To show you how a full skin is looking like, you have here first the raw image that we obtained, that is the orange image with all the CNO. Here it's someone with a poor skin health, so there is a lot of the CNO. We will collect 20 images like this over the sample, over the discom, in order to have something that we can average properly. Then our AI, our deep learning AI model will detect all those CNO and detect also not just their number and density, but also their morphology. For some disease, you can have like really small CNO, and from other, you can have really big CNO. So we will also evaluate this. And then we will have a roughness calculation of, as I said, the ridges, the contrast, the mountain. So I would now want to show you some example of result for both cosmetics product evaluation and dermatological assessment. So if we talk about cosmetic product evaluation, here it's a study we made at Loretta, where we took 30 students, 10 of them had some hydrating lotion, 10 of them had a night hydrating serum, and 10 of them had a pH regulating tonic. And for 7 weeks, we collected the skin on one arm without any product and the arm with the product. What we observe is really interesting. The first thing is that on the arm without product, we have an evolution of the number of the CNO. So we have an evolution of this biomarker related to skin health. Why we have an increase of this CNO number is because at the end of this period, a student had examination. And so we have a direct correlation between the stress that induce stress on the skin and that create this evolution of CNO. We are now conducting more experiment on this in order to try to quantifying mental stress to skin health. That's in study And then on the arm with the product, for all of them had a good reduction of the CNO number, so an increased health in the skin student, with a biggest impact on the lotion, the hydrating lotion and the night serum hydrating, especially because CNO are strongly related to hydration of the skin. So products that have that want to hydrate the skin will have a strong effect. The tonic pH regulator was more on the barrier function, and so we also have a great effect on the CNO number, but it's a little bit less. And when you see, you can see the scan, how they look like at the screening, week 0 before any product, and after without product and with product. You have the CNO that are in the small green square, and you can see that without product, you have much more green square than with product. So we are using this in order to evaluate, and we relate the CNO number to classical method like Thule method, corneometer method, or even cutometer method. And finally, one last result, more about the atopic dermatitis and dermatological. Here it's in order to show you that for every Fitzpatrick skin type, we were able to obtain similar results, and to show you a big difference between no atopic dermatitis and with atopic dermatitis. You have those two images. With the first one with atopic dermatitis, this number of CNO that is super high, and without atopic dermatitis that is super low. So we really have the evolution from one to the other, and we can see how the recovery or the product will repair the skin. And so in order to finish, just a small presentation, more general of Loretta. So we are a really young startup. We only has been created in the late 2024. It's based on the research made in Denmark by one professor, one PhD, and my PhD, where we have created this device and created the deep learning model to analyze. And we had the chance to be awards at the Cosmetic Victories for the the Industrial Innovation of the Year in 2025. And we had multiple talk and podium presentation in the Dermatological Congress like IFFCC and other. So thanks a lot for listening to me, and don't hesitate to reach me through LinkedIn or by email, and I will be glad to answer any question. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Don't hesitate to ask your question on the Q&A, and after my presentation, we can answer all your question. Also, we are looking forward to receiving your comments on this presentation. So now it's my turn. So I will share my presentation. Now I will present you the main slide 4, the main trends. So what we see, it's a big market. The skincare is the largest revenue for beauty market, and India is representing 5.3% of the global beauty market in the world. And now it's the fastest growing regional market in Asia Pacific. And as you know, L'Oréal just announced that they will build a new hub for high tech and IA beauty in Hyderabad. So it's not only a hazard. So we will see after the other context about the economic and the urbanization, the population. It's #1 in the world, but you know already this. Then after the next slides, we will see that what is the quiet beauty following Mintel influence. We can see that Neuroglow is also coming in India with this. I think it's different from Korean market and Korean beauty, because here we see it's more mind-beauty connection related to Ayurvedic, which is an ancestral medicine of India. We can see that brightening is 1/3 facial care sales, and 30% Indian consumer are on social media. So globally, it's a very dynamic market. So next slide, we will see what are in more details, what are the sophisticated simplicity, the Neuroglow, and the premiumization and innovation. And next slide, we will see, so this is what we do for each market, and I'm thrilled to summarize all the parameters that influence the testing market. And we can see here that politics and economy, since 1 year in every market, that US tariff and the dynamic of the economy in India is really influencing the beauty market and also the testing. What influences also a lot is the focus on the skin specificity in India. We will see that later, and also the environmental changes. So next slides. We built 2 years ago Skinobs barometer, which is where we gather all the information we read from magazine, from scientific publication, from all the conversation and talk we have with experts. And regarding the claims, we can see India is on the beige light, and we can see that whitening and lightening, complexion and radiance, and climate, humidity, and multifunctional is really a trend for claims. Next slide. And then here it's the same, but related with other continents. Next slide. Here it's just focus on Indian beauty market. So we can see that climate, complexion, whitening, lightening is really the most trendy claims. Microbiome is coming, microbiome related to acne-prone skin, of course, and acne blemish. Next slide. So I will say that the 4 claims related to the skin pigmentation are pigmentation and glow, hyperpigmentation, acne, anti-pollution, and sun protection. So here it's that's a part I presented during the technical seminar at HPCI. I think it's very important to know that there is a various, as Dr. Annie Jain told us, there is a specificity of the skin types and the tone in India, and we can see that we can have a diagonally from southwest to northeast, from darker to lighter skin. So that's very important. So next slide. Here, the dark skin tone are really impacted by the pigmentation disorder, and 50% of Indian women can have dark circles problem on the upper eyelid, and 20 to 30% of the women from 40 to 60 years old present a facial melasma. So hyperpigmentation is really a big concern in India, and the UV is known to exacerbate pigmentation disorders also. Next slide. So here I just summarize very quickly what are the skin heterogeneity and disorders for pigmentation on Indian subject. It is actinic longitudine, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation with acne, with concomitant with contact dermatitis, but also even insect bites. And this overall skin color darken with age, and this is this question of dark eye circle and periorbital hyperpigmentation, which is very important. Next slide. Here it's just theory and science. I keep it for the PDF version. Next slide. So here I will focus on the tools and the instruments you can use to study skin condition and hyperpigmentation. You can do score and scale and auto-evaluation also, but to study the color, you have many tools. You can find them on the Skinobs testing platform. I remind you that the access is free, so you can connect, and the access is reserved to people involved in testing in the beauty and dermocosmetics field. Next slide. You can also study the brightening and skin lightening using specific instrument to study glowing and radiance, like the Goniolux, the Transluderm, the Antera 3D from Miravex, and the Glossimeter from Courage et Casaca, and also the Secube by Pixience. Julie presents you all the functionality of this great imager. Next slide. When you study color of the skin and all these hyperpigmentation question, you can analyze the face overall with using the VCO face, the color face, the Evasor. So you have many instruments, and you can select them directly on the menu on the testing platform. Next slide. And the skin surface also, you can use many 3D imaging system or 2D imaging system, and also the Secube from Pixience. Focus on testing. In India, you can find many testing labs with which are implementing clinical and preclinical assays and clinical evaluation. CIDP is a reference, and you can find also all the information regarding Novobliss testing lab, which is in Ahmedabad, and also Clienta Research, which is also in Ahmedabad, in Canada and US, and they are able to answer your question. And here in the slide, you can see every time we visit a lab, you can find in the directory a special sign that represent that we show that we have visited this testing lab. Finally, these are the details. So in the preclinical testing platform category, you can find information about efficacy, safety, penetration, microbiology, or specifically UV. And then on the clinical part, you find 15 providers, and you can choose among tolerance, consumer testing, efficacy, or efficacy on strands, and it's true that skinification in India is also a main concern. Finally, stay tuned, because we develop, we have a special white paper regarding testing trends, regarding microbiome. And then coming soon, Cosmetotest, we will be pleased to welcome for the first time Clienta Research with a presentation from Simran Sethi, and you will be able to meet them because they will have a booth at Cosmetotest. All the webinars are on our YouTube channel, and you can also stay tuned using the Cosmetic Testing News website. Thank you very much for your attention, and now it's the Q&A session. I welcome all the speakers, Arthur, Guillaume, Annie, and Julie, to answer the question we may have. So I have a question from Dr. Simran Sethi. Where do you scalp microbiome? Like which country? Is it done in India? And if yes, is microbiome an in-house or outsource analysis? I think it's for you, Dr. Annie Jain.
Sure, Anne. Thank you for the question. So in terms of microbiome analysis, whether it's the QCR-based microbiome profiling, shotgun metagenomic sequencing, fungal microbiome, proteomics, metabolomics. So we have a team of qualified, fully trained technicians in-house at CIDP along with dermatologists. And we generally do the biological sampling collection at our center, whether it's tape strips, sebutapes, skin and scalp surface swabs, uh, follicle unit extraction, hair saps, skin and scalp biopsy samplings. So we have the option of storing these samples, biological samples, in-house with the facilities of -20, -80 degrees deep freezers. And in terms of the analysis, we have tie-ups with reputed labs in India and across the world, mainly in Europe, to get the analysis done based on the requirements that you might have. We can definitely get the samplings and get the analysis done at the labs.
Okay, and there is a complementary question, Dr. Annie, from Runar Vigge. He was wondering if you offer qPCR-based microbiome profiling.
Yes, I think I answered that in the previous question, but just to add to what I've already mentioned, yes, we can get the analysis done, but as I mentioned, at our centers in CIDP, we do have options of collecting the biological samples from participants, whether it's for skin or scalp, whether it's for healthy volunteers or diseased or pathological conditions like, scalp seborrhea, or skin for acne, truncal biopsy, atopic dermatitis. So we regularly do biological sample collection for many of our studies, and then we get the analysis done at outsourced labs in India and Europe.
Okay, thank you. And there is also a complementary question about this microbiome topic. Do you think it is possible to set up in-house scalp and skin collection? And do you think it's practical and sufficiently scientifically robust for routine exploratory in India? What do you think?
Definitely. I think recently we had a discussion with reputed labs in France regarding setting up testing centers, analysis centers in India, because we are now getting more and more requests in terms of biological sample collection and getting the analysis done here in India instead of outsourcing the samples which we collect here from the participants. So we are hopeful that we should be having centers established close by in India to have the analysis done locally instead of partnering with the labs outside India.
Okay, and I have a question for Arthur. It's it's about skin collection also. What about the stripping? Is it Arthur? Is it your own specific stripping, or do you use standard stripping? Could we imagine that we can conduct a study with Dr. Annie Jain at CIDP and then send you the samples? How it could work?
Yeah, we are
Sure.
using a
Yes.
standardized tape strip. Most of the time a commercial one. We can use both like a Corneofix or Disquam. We don't have any specificity and we don't produce our own. So we already received like sample from all over the world without any problem. You can use your own tape strip and we can analyze them.
Okay. And I have also a question in terms of duration of study for Guillaume. Imagine we do sun care evaluation. What is from the sample? We send the samples to in France, and then how long it takes to get the results? For the new HGRS or for the new double plate test from India to France, because there are always custom question or delivery question. So how you deal with that?
Okay, thanks for your question. So, in terms of in vitro testing, it is quite fast. After receiving and registering the samples from anywhere in the world, we can give the test result between 7 to 10 days approximately. Of course, those delay could vary a little depending on the number of samples and the period of the year. Sometimes there are periods that are more intense for testing, but on average for in vitro tests, including the new ISO 23675, we are around 7 to 10 days to obtain a result.
Okay.
Regarding the HDRS, as it is a test with an in vivo clinical part, it will be longer, and here the delay will be similar to classical SPF in vivo test. For a full test, we can give result about 3 to 4 weeks after the beginning of the study. But to let you know, we test samples from various parts of the world, from the USA, from Latin America, from Asia, Australia. It's really easy for customers to send the samples to France, and we can receive them quite fast with air freight, for example. So we are used to that. We are used already to work with many customers outside of Europe for testing.
Okay, and I have a question for you, Shweta. This Indian market for beauty and cosmetic is really incredible, as India is really incredible. And I was thinking, on my opinion, there is a big shift between rural and urban consumers, and how you feel, how you can feel, what you can say about the evolution, how you, in terms of dynamic, how quick can be, and how you think the beauty market will evolve in India in the next months and year.
So the growth is going to happen very rapidly, and over the years what we see is the major impact has been on social media, people's access. Everybody has on their mobile phone Instagram and YouTube. There are a lot of influencers, and there is a lot of affiliate marketing happening through that. So the accessibility and reach of products, cosmetic products, has increased a lot, and many small brands have come about. So like many startup companies have come. So there is a plethora of products available to consumers. So e-commerce has really changed the game, as well as I think the social media is playing a big role, and many companies are now investing more in advertising in these media compared to the traditional media and television and the print, etc.
Yeah.
So it's only going to explode.
Okay. Yeah, I was surprised to hear when I was discussing with Indian people that the delivery access now. I talk with a young lady, and she told me, oh, if I want to buy 2 liters of milk, I just put my order in the app, and 10 minutes after I get my 2 liters of milk. And I was so surprised, because in India you have so many little shops everywhere. So what it is the impact of this new consumer habit for the beauty sector?
So lot of impulsive buying is happening, because you see something, you don't have to go out anywhere. It comes to your house. So you can go on shopping with quick commerce. I think impulsive shopping and cosmetics are all about impulsive shopping. You are not going to, like, it's a grocery shopping. So
Yeah.
I think that has really, the quick commerce is playing a big role.
Okay. And so I imagine that will be my last question. And if anyone has comments, or Guillaume or Julie or Arthur, feel free to ask your question. I was wondering, this evolution, with this evolution, is the influencers have a real impact of the beauty choice?
Yes, and there has been interesting studies that have come up that the celebrity endorsements are being cut down, So companies are getting more bang for their bucks by investing into nano and micro influencers. So apart from my consultancy, I'm also an micro influencer and I do product reviews. So I can see both sides of the story. So influencers are really making, and these influencers are available to each regional pockets, speaking their own language. So I think that is also making a big difference, and the system has become more efficient for marketeers.
In Europe, or specifically in France, now there is a regulation regarding influencers, and they must tell that they are advertising for this or this brands. Is it the case in India?
Yes. So the government also, the guidelines, the CCPA guidelines say that there has to be a disclosure if it's a paid promotion that is happening. So that guideline exists, but it's very common that it is not yet disclosed. So I think the more and more regulator starts to take action, then we will see a difference. But yes, the hashtag ad is required disclosure.
Okay. We don't have any other question. Maybe Dr. Anne Jain, you will be contacted by someone who wants to know more about stripping routing at home.
There is a question for Guillaume in the chat. I can read. It says, Guillaume, can you kindly provide us information about 2-day training program? Also, if we can get contact information for initiating the discussion. You're on mute. You're on mute.
You are mute.
Yes, sure. I just shared again my email address in the chat, and I will also share the website for Weneos. So you can contact me at glejeune@weneos.com or commercial@weneos.com. And I'd be glad to answer any question you may have.
Thank you very much to the participants for your attention and for being there with us today. Thousands of thanks to our speakers today. You will retrieve this recorded webinar on the Skinobs YouTube channel, and feel free to contact each of the speaker. And we hope you had a good overview of what's going on in India for the beauty market. And thank you again.